Okay, perfect. So I have a lot of really exciting stuff I want to go over with you tonight, and I'm really thankful that you guys agreed to kind of combine Thursday night's call with Tuesday night's call, because I kind of wanted to go over the same content without having to repeat it. So for starters, for those of you who were on Scotty's call last night, he talked about March Madness, achieving Success Club 10 by the 10th. If you are going on the cruise, you can win an autographed bag by Autumn for the 21-day fix. And I think it's just a great goal, you know, to set yourself up for success for the rest of the month. And I think that we saw last month with the Team Cup and so many people going above and beyond 10 points that truly the sky is the limit. You know, certainly Melanie's 247 Success Club points broke every record in the Beachbody book. And I'm not saying that you have to, you know, get 200 points, but I think 10 by the 10th is a really great goal to strive for. So some things that we have to help us out with that: the Les Mills Combat Challenge Pack is on sale for $140. It's normally $160. And Les Mills Pump is on sale for $180, which is normally $245. So please make sure that your team knows that. And in saying that, I just want to clarify that we are not used car salesmen. So if you share those promotions with them, make sure they realize, you know, this is something that you share with your challengers, or you could share it on your blog, but don't do one of those really annoying, you know, now on sale, Les Mills Pump, whatever, promo pictures on their Facebook wall, because nobody really responds to those. So they can share their personal experience. I know some of you guys are fans of Les Mills Pump, fans of the music, so you can share things like that, or, you know, share how you like it, but please don't go all salesy on us. Number 2, I wanted to go over the business activity tracker. So I fill mine out with paper and pen because I just like to have it sitting on my desk in front of me. But I know that some of you guys like to fill it out online. Jennifer has just put together a really amazing Excel spreadsheet that we can look into. But I just want to make sure you guys are turning these in on Thursday, because I'm going to go over it in a little bit, but it really is all about accountability and to be able to track your results. So how do you know what's working or what's not working if you're not tracking what you're doing? You simply don't. So please post those in the group and we can go over them. I'm not judging anyone on theirs. It's mainly for accountability. So next thing, personal development. So I know it sounds crazy, but I can tell who's doing their personal development and who is not. The reason why I can tell is because the people who are doing personal development have ideas. They're creative. They come up with things for their business, because when you're reading, the wheels in your mind start turning, especially if you read before bed. You know, in your sleep, your subconscious is working on solving problems. So the people who are doing their personal development are the people who are posting more, the people who are more engaged with their team, the people who are feeling like, you know, maybe you think, gosh, I feel like I'm in a slump, or I don't know what to tell my team, or I don't know how to progress forward. You really do need to pick up a personal development book and start reading. I don't even care what you read, just pick up something and start reading it. You know, I think that when you listen to any of the national coach calls or go to any of the events, the one thing that all of the leaders say is personal development was instrumental in their success. So I just want to reiterate that. And we all know great leaders not only read, but they take notes and they implement what they've read in those books. So I feel like I just had to throw that out there on the call. With that being said, I wanted to share with you guys this book. It's called Repeat the Remarkable: How Strong Leaders Overcome Business Challenges and Take Their Performance to the Next Level. And it's by Perry Hawley. So I made some notes in this book. I just started it 4 days ago, but I felt like it was exactly on topic with what I wanted to go over tonight. So I just want to kind of dive right into it. So what is remarkable? Remarkable is the ability to consistently differentiate yourself through the quality of your attitude, actions, and your outcome that drives undeniable value for your customers and cause others to sit up and take notice. So basically, as a coach, what that means is really being able to deliver for your customers. I always want my challengers to walk away from the challenge group thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I only paid $205 for this because I'm getting that daily accountability. I'm getting this amazing meal replacement shake and this program where I don't have to guess what kind of workout I'm doing. You want your customers to feel like, I am so glad I signed up for this. I'm going to go tell everybody about it because my coach is absolutely amazing and has changed my life. So, as you're starting your day, as you're, going through doing follow-ups or reaching out to leads, I want you to think about how you can be remarkable. And what's that saying with customer service, like under promise and over deliver? I think about companies like Nordstrom. When I go in there and I get excellent customer service, it makes me feel good, and it makes me want to go back, and it makes me want to bring my friends to, whatever company has treated me really well. So if you want to get referrals and if you want to differentiate yourself from the thousands of other Beachbody coaches, think about how you can provide remarkable service for not only your customers, but for your coaches as well. Next, taking that remarkable step, and the next step is how can you maintain that? How can you be consistent with that? So I love what he says here. The steps are not necessarily difficult, but they do require a consistent, intentional, mindful approach if you hope to achieve the level of truly remarkable. The world is full of one-hit wonders, like music groups that reach the top 100 charts with a hit song, but after their brief flash in the spotlight, they fade back into obscurity. Remarkable consists of delivering results that are not only beyond excellent, but also sustainable and repeatable. In our competitive world of bigger, faster, and cheaper, the achievement of remarkable is the differentiator that will move you and your business to the top. So that all goes back to the slight edge. I feel like I'm a little bit of a broken record when it comes to consistency, but being remarkable once isn't going to get you anywhere. It really is about how you maintain that over time. Okay, so that takes me to my next topic, which is how do you build the foundation for being remarkable? And it's so funny because as I was reading this, and you guys can look at the notes from what I posted today, I was thinking, what can you do where you can start your day and you have this like mission statement in your mind, like this is what I set out to accomplish and this is how I'm going to do it. So in this particular book, he talks about the first building block of your foundation for success is knowing what outcome you'd like to achieve. Like, what is your goal? And being articulate about what you're trying to accomplish. So I think, something that we can all work on is coming up with a mission statement for your own personal business and for your team. And just for the sake of being transparent here, when I started this business, it really was about creating freedom. And, I don't share this too often because it's kind of like dark, I think. But my dad was abusive to my mom. So one thing that has always been like, a passion of mine is helping women become independent. I saw my mom stuck in this situation. She didn't have the financial means to leave, and I never wanted to be that person. So, at the core root of what I do, it's all about helping women and helping them gain that independence over their life. So I think that, that's something yours doesn't have to be as dramatic as that. But, think about who is that person out there that you want to help. Jennifer, for example, had PCOS, and that's part of her mission statement, to help other women with their health, help other women be able to overcome those things. So I'd like for you guys to think about, what is it that you're trying to accomplish with your business? Who is it that you're trying to help? And we've touched on that with the ideal customer avatar, but I want you to really dig deep and create a mission statement where you read that each morning knowing what it is that you're setting out to do. Now, the second building block to your strong foundation for success is knowing the why behind it. So you could say, it's important for me to help women entrepreneurs build a successful business. But unless I put a why behind that, it is not going to be very effective. You have to know what it is about that goal that's important to you. And in this book, he gives a really great example about IBM. And it says, all of the innovation, product development would be meaningless if the values of serving customers, society, and the planet were not in place. So it's like, okay, you achieved your goal, but like, why does it even matter? So this is something we talk about all the time, knowing your why with your Beachbody business, but but I think it's important to get very clear. And I think that's something that a lot of people say, yeah, I know exactly why I'm doing this, but this is a great opportunity to put pen to paper and really get clear on your message. When you do that, your message is going to be very consistent across, all your social media, across everything that you share. And that's how you're going to attract people who you can truly help versus, having this blanket broad approach where you're like, oh, I want to help everybody. And then you end up relating to nobody. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but I want you guys to get clear on what your goal is and why you want to achieve it. The last thing I want to go over that I just recently read is the 3 things that you can do to strengthen your position as a leader. And those are enablement, mentor and coach, and accountability. So accountability, obviously, that's why I want you guys to post your business activity trackers so that you can be accountable, as a coach and as a leader. Mentor and coach, that's all about us getting together on these Zoom calls and openly talking about our business, talking about what challenges you're facing and getting input and feedback from others. That's super important because, you are your own business owner, but you're not in this alone, and it's important to utilize your resources. And for those of you who saw my post in the leadership group, I really want that to be a forum where we share ideas and brainstorm, because you could have the seed of a great idea, and with the team, you can develop that into something extraordinary instead of just having this general idea. And that's going to help you implement a lot more. So I'd encourage you guys to start posting more. And the last category that he talks about is enablement. And that really is all about personal development, learning the business, checking into the Coach Online office, getting on the national wake-up call, doing everything you can to learn your business and really be engaged with the education. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to go over in my current book that I'm reading. The next thing I want to go over is basically how to be a more effective leader and how to be more effective with your time. Time management is something that always seems to come up. We all say, gosh, I wish I had more hours in the day. But the bottom line is the coaches who I have who are the most successful are the coaches who are the busiest. So not to call Jennifer Graham out again, but she's a busy engineer. She's a wife. She's got 1,000 things going on. She always has these crazy meetings and she's driving in the car. And yet she manages to get things done. Why? Because she's effective with her time. So, a lot of people are like, oh man, if only I was a full-time Beachbody coach. I've seen a lot of full-time Beachbody coaches piddle away their day, for lack of a better word, because they're like, oh, I have all day to get my workout in, and then before you know it, it's like 7 o'clock and they've got nothing done. So before you guys kind of fall into that trap of wasting time and basically spending your day being reactive, I wanted to go over some really great time management tips that I think are going to help you be a more effective leader. So in the group, I posted the 4 categories that are very easy to fall into and, kind of get into management mode. So the first thing you do not want to do is become a firefighter. And what I mean by that is there is always going to be a coach crisis where they're like, oh my gosh, I can't find the 21-day fixed challenge pack code, or oh my gosh, I have blah, 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 blah going on. And as their coach, you probably feel like, oh my goodness, this is like they're my baby. I need to swoop in and save them and give them the answer. That's not very effective, because it's okay if you have 1 to 2 coaches where you're kind of putting out their fires all day, but as your team grows, you'll find that you'll become extremely burnt out if you're spending your entire day answering questions. Instead, when someone signs up, what you need to do is teach them the hierarchy of where to find information. So number 1, the coach FAQs. Number 2, if they can't find it there, they can Google it. Number 3, if they can't find it through Googling it, they can post it in the team group, and other people will be able to answer and, give their feedback. Number 4, if they still cannot find it through all those things, they can call Coach Relations. And then if they still cannot find the answer or they're confused by the answer, then they can reach out to you. Now, it's important to note when you teach them this that you say, as your coach, my goal as your mentor is to help you become independent from me as quickly as possible, because I want you to be a leader. I don't want you to always be in my shadow waiting on me to give you the answers for everything. I want you to be able to duplicate what I'm doing and grow your team. So when you sign up people, you're going to teach them this hierarchy of information. it's more effective for me to spend my time helping people get results than to answer all these questions that, quite frankly, are all in the Coach Training Academy. You know, when you sign up a new coach and they're like, how do you get to Emerald? It's like, well, if you would have done the Coach Training Academy, you would already know the answer to that. So instead of spending your day, you know, answering all of these small questions, empower your coaches to find the answers for themselves. And I am in absolutely no way saying that you do this in a rude way or say, you're so stupid, why didn't you look here, why didn't you look there? You need to explain the why behind, you know, why you're sending them to these resources, you know, letting them know that that's going to develop them as a leader. And quite frankly, when they have to find the answer for themselves, it helps them learn how to find information. If they always have to rely on you, then they're never going to grow bigger than what you let them grow. So you kind of have to allow them to make mistakes, allow them to, you know, stumble through finding the answers and figuring it out. And through that, they're going to become independent. B, you don't want to be a cheerleader. So on the one hand, yes, you want to motivate your team. You want to provide recognition. You want to congratulate them on a job well done. You want to celebrate the small milestones and success. Maybe they got their first challenger. Maybe they got their first
the last 23 minutes.
They posted their first invitation on Facebook. You can absolutely celebrate those and be a cheerleader. But for those of you who watched the video on, you know, the helium balloons versus the air-filled balloons, you don't want to be the person that has to be responsible for your coach's motivation. You know, in their core, they have to want to do this. You have to work with the willing. You have to at least have sparked something in them that they are excited about building their own business. You cannot be the you know, conductor train pulling everybody in your team along. You need people who run with you, who are running the marathon with you, not people that you're carrying on your back. So if you find yourself spending your entire day, you know, having to keep everyone's spirits up and having to talk them off of the ledge, then I think you need to reassess that person's goals and reassess, you know, why they became a coach. And a lot of that can be done through a simple conversation, you know, saying, I absolutely support you. I absolutely want you to reach your goals, but we need to have a conversation about what it is that you want, because I feel like we're at a disconnect where I'm always having to, you know, like build you up. I need you to be on this journey with me and lock arms with me and become a leader on the team and not be somebody who I have to drag along. And I think if you guys are honest with them, you know, they'll appreciate that. And if they don't, then they're probably not someone that you want to spend a lot of your time with anyway. Number 3, I don't want you guys to become online junkies or, you know, constantly refreshing your Facebook for notifications. That is leading your day in a very reactive way. So if you're waiting for people to comment on your post, or you're waiting for your coaches to post things and tag you in them, then you're not creating anything of value. You're not leading your business. You're not getting out there and reaching new people. So one thing I recommend doing is, if you are not on Facebook, or if you are on Facebook, number 1, ignore your notifications. You know, you need to go on Facebook to post in your challenge groups. You need to go on there to check in with, you know, the leadership group and the coach training group and all that good stuff. But you don't need to go through your notifications. Instead, what I've done, instead of going through my newsfeed and kind of looking at what everyone's doing, is I've created lists. So I have lists for my downline. I have lists for challengers. So I can quickly go in there and see what's going on with everyone without getting distracted. You know how, like, sometimes you're on Facebook and you end up looking at pictures, and then it's like your old neighbor's aunt's best friend's wedding, and then you're like, wait, I just wasted 3 hours. You don't want to get caught in that trap. You want to be very proactive with your time, especially if you are working a full-time job and you have all these things going on. You want to be very mindful of where you're spending your time. And I'm going to kind of get into like how to lead your day in a minute here, but basically turn off all the pings and dings and any kind of notification that you have going on, whether it's for Facebook or for your email. If you're working on a blog post, for example, close out Facebook. If you're working on, you know, creating content like a YouTube video, put your phone on airplane mode. Those things can wait. What's more important is for you to create content. And then number 4 is micromanaging your team. So we're here as leaders, you know, we're not bosses, we're not managers. Our goal as a mentor or as a sponsor coach is to help develop the skills of our team so that they can go on to become leaders. If you're micromanaging people and watching over everything they do, and you are like, put me in every challenge group that you do, talk to me about every conversation you have, you're not giving them the chance to become independent. Sometimes, I guess like the best example of this is I used to work at American Eagle as a manager, and I was kind of a control freak about it because I thought, I have this very specific way that I want things done, and I feel like my way is the right way. One week I went on vacation, and somebody else had to take over my responsibilities of doing the floor change and doing the scheduling. And I honestly felt like I'm going to come back and it's going to be a disaster. But what happened was the girl that did it not only did an amazing job, but then she felt empowered and she felt like confident. She had done something amazing, and she had achieved that through watching what I was doing. So with your team, I would encourage you to kind of, allow them a little breathing room, let them make mistakes, let them kind of figure things out for their own, let them try new things because, I always tell you guys, I don't have all the answers. This business is constantly evolving and changing, and you might come up with a brilliant idea that, I want to take and I want to implement for my business. So trust your team, be patient with them and teach them the ways and teach them to kind of follow in your footsteps, but also give them space to be creative and to, think about how they want to run their business and, be able to actually run with that. Okay, so how do you lead your day with intention? I want you guys to be very picky about how you spend your time, especially, like I said, if you have other obligations and you're not a full-time coach. You really need to be mindful of the hours in the day, okay? So if you've never done it, there's this book by Chalene Johnson called Push. She also does the 30daypush.com. Where you basically get an email every day. It's free, and she teaches you about time management, how to organize your to-do list, how to prioritize things, how to set push goals that will get you to the next level. So I'm not going to go, obviously it's 30 days of information and an entire book of information. So I'm just going to go over some key points that I found to be very helpful. So number one, start your day with intention, okay? So basically what I mean by that is I'd like for you guys to create a mission statement. Like I said before, what is it that you're trying to accomplish as a coach and why that's important to you? And you can write that on your whiteboard. You can put it on a Post-it note. You can put it as the screensaver or the backdrop for your computer, just somewhere where you see it every day. And I don't have a copy of it right in front of me, but if you guys have a copy of The Compound Effect, I love the 4 things that Darren Hardy does in the morning, and I can't remember exactly what they are, but it's all about starting your day with gratitude and kind of reciting, what you're hoping to accomplish for the day. And that was extremely helpful. I did that for like a year, and it was extremely helpful to me to kind of get my thoughts on paper and to kind of wake up every day and just reset myself and say, okay, what is my mission today? Oh, awesome, Emily. I love it. Maybe you could look really quick and tell us if you can find it. If not, don't worry about it. I'll post it in the group. So I think that the mission statement is extremely helpful, and like reconnecting with your why. I think that's something that you can lose sight of. And in this book, Repeat the Remarkable, he gives a really great example of, what is that show? It's like Restaurant Impossible. So, the guy, whoever the expert is, goes in and was like, here you have this restaurant who has 1,000 things on the menu, and they've got all these different things going on. Basically, they were going in too many different directions, and they had strayed from their vision for the business. And I think that's very easy for us to do. We start out with the intention of one thing. We start out trying to connect with our ideal customer or our preferred audience, and then we can get swayed or off track. We see what other coaches are doing, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we have to, do this and follow what so-and-so is doing. Instead, I really want you guys to remain true to your mission statement and reconnect with that on a daily basis. The next thing I want you to do is get out a piece of paper and do your to-do list. Chalene Johnson talks about getting it all out of your head. There are a lot of things that might be on your mind, those to-do lists. Like, for example, I think I'm up for my 6-month dental cleaning, and it's been on my mind for 2 weeks now. And it's like bugging me. Like I actually had a dream about getting my teeth cleaned the other night. So that's something I need to write down and just make it happen. But anything that's bugging your subconscious, get it all out on paper, whether you need to do it today, tomorrow, or a year from now. Get it all out on paper, and then you can prioritize and break down your to-do list into, Chalene Johnson does it into days. Franklin Covey does it by A, B, C, and D. So if you want to do it Franklin Covey's way, it's, A is the most important, has to get done. There are consequences unless you do it. B is you like to get it done. C is you could get it done, or it doesn't really matter if you don't. And then D is like a crap task that you can just take off your list. Chalene breaks it down into, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do this week? What do I need to do this month? And then by the year. So whatever method works best for you, that you feel most connected to or motivated, I don't think it matters. I think what matters is that you figure out what's effective for you, what you're actually going to follow and be motivated by. So get all those to-dos onto paper, onto your, into your calendar. And then I want you to think about, what are the 3 things that are going to be the most effective to move your business forward today? So here's what I want you to consider. How do I reach the most people? A lot of people say, wow, it's so crazy how movie stars make so much money, or how sports stars make so much money. At the end of the day, the people with the most influence make the most money. So a movie star is affecting thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, see their movie. And that's how they're able to make so much money. So when you think about it in terms of how many people are seeing your YouTube, you want to widen your circle of influence. You want to be able to help as many people as you can. Now, going back to the firefighter example, if you find yourself answering questions over and over again to your team, don't you think it's time that you make a YouTube video answering those questions? That way you can create content that you can use over and over and over again. And then you're putting yourself out there as a leader on YouTube. So if someone's searching Beachbody Coach and they see, oh, this girl, Nikki Johnson, has all these training videos, I bet that she's really engaged in the business and she seems like she's a leader. I want to sign up with her. That's how you expand your circle of influence. The more people that see, the more your influence grows, the more money you're able to make, and the bigger your business is able to grow. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So 3 things that you will positively impact your business. I know that on some of the previous calls, we talked about starting a blog. If you have been talking about starting a blog for like 6 weeks, you need to just do it. Like, rip the Band-Aid off. And like I said, put it into a small task where you're like, okay, today I'm just going to go sign up for an account. Same thing with YouTube. If you have been putting it off, you need to just make a quick video where you're like, hi, my name's Kayla, and then stop the video. Take those baby steps if that's what you need to get stuff done, but at least move yourself forward. Now, the next thing I want you to do with that to-do list is, you have your 3 things. I want you to get to work on creating them. We are not starting our day by logging into Facebook. I feel like you guys should Hootsuite your challenge group post anyway, and then you can go in later in the day and respond and answer questions and things like that. That way you're not starting your day where you're posting in the group. And honestly, it takes a lot of stress off of you. So if you haven't been Hootsuiting your posts, I recommend it, but I don't want you guys to fall into the trap where you're like, oh, all the posts are taken care of, I don't need to log in. However, if you schedule them ahead of time, then you can spend your morning being proactive, and then later in the afternoon, you can take that time to be a little bit reactive with the groups, where you can go in a very controlled way and say, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes checking into all my groups and commenting and giving people feedback. So creating content, I can't get over this enough. That is the absolute most important thing. One thing I learned from the Smart Success seminar with Chalene Johnson and Brendan Burchard is, he said, every time you answer an email, you're losing money. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, well, he doesn't understand my business, because that might be great for him, but he doesn't get what we do, because our business is responding to people and is writing them back and is building relationships. And he kept saying it over and over, and I was getting annoyed. I was like, he just doesn't get it. Like, I'm tuning all this out because it doesn't apply to me. And then he said, you cannot start your day emailing people, you're losing money, even if you're the only customer service person in your company. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm the only customer service person. I'm the person that they reach out to, that they want advice from, that they have questions. And it finally sunk in, the whole creating content thing. And I think that Chalene Johnson's 30-day push is the perfect example of this. She created this program, and you can relate it to having a blog, where she created this content that helps people, sharing her story, sharing tips, sharing helpful advice, and she provides it in video format. So you feel like you know her, and she's reaching hundreds of thousands of people. So if I'm spending my time emailing somebody, I'm only able to help that one person. But if I'm creating a blog post that's answering their questions, I'm able to help whoever sees that blog post. I'm able to help then thousands of people. So I just have to emphasize to you guys that it's so important to focus on creating content first, and then spending the rest of your time, or whatever time you have left, actually responding to people, responding to emails, and reaching out to people. And I know that, adding contacts to your list and following up with people are vital behaviors, but you're going to basically build your contact list through the content that you create and through the value you provide. So the more value you provide, the more content you create, the more people are going to find you that you can add to your contact list. If you're doing it backwards, where you're like, first I need to make contacts and then I can provide value, you're going to be struggling an uphill battle the entire way, because you're going to be finding people and then you have to make it worth it to them. You have to somehow convince them that you have value to add. If you start with the value first, you're going to have people flocking to you, and they're going to be loyal to you and say, oh my gosh, I feel like, she's my twin. I feel like I totally know her. She's in my head and she knows exactly what I'm going through. And I don't have to talk to her one-on-one, because I've read her blog and I, have learned all of these things from that wonderful resource. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions about that? Okay. So I feel like I don't want to, drive the point home, but I feel like I have to, it's all about being proactive and creating that content. Okay. Do. I think that was everything that I had to go over with you guys. And then the last thing was, when you have that mission statement, and a lot of you guys are diamond or on the road to diamond, I want you to think about, what are the characteristics of your team and what you guys represent? What are the things that are important to you as a leader? And then having your team rally around something. So a lot of people have bombshell shirts, and it's like you go to the events and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud to be a part of this. That's something that you guys need to start creating, that culture and that atmosphere. So when people come in, they feel instantly like they're a part of something, and they want to strive to be whatever the group is. So I noticed recently, and I'm only going to say this on a leadership call, but there's been this influx of weird negative energy, and I don't know if you guys have felt that, but I felt like with this whole Shakeology led thing and the 21-day fix back order, that there are coaches who are so quick to complain and so quick to talk bad about the company versus saying, okay, you know what, our company is growing very fast. This is actually a great problem that we have, and I'm going to find a way to be remarkable for my customers and use this back order time as an opportunity to help them get set up for success, help them, plan for their clean eating. And instead, what I have are people complaining about it, saying that, oh my gosh, so-and-so is going to flip out. No customer is going to flip out if you handle it correctly and you deliver remarkable service to them and say, I know that this is so crazy, they're on back order, but what I can do in the meantime is, let's work on your eating, let's get you set up for success, and let's make this time effective while you're waiting for it, instead of just sitting around letting that person, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say simmer, but let them sit there and think where the heck is my workout? So getting back to my point, I want you guys to be very clear with newbies about, you helping them become independent and what your team is all about, that we do lead with integrity. We don't poach other people's customers, that we are all about adding value, that we're not these salesy predator type people, that we are simply here to share our mission, share our story, and reach as many people as possible. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. Now, with all of that being said, do you guys have any questions for me so far?
Katie.
Yes.
Is this call every Tuesday night?
So we have a Tuesday night call for my Emerald to Diamond group, and then we typically have a Thursday night call for leadership, but this week we combine them. But yeah, okay. There is a call Tuesdays.
So Thursday is every night for leadership?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and like this is the first time where I've like actually sat down and thought about what I've wanted to talk about, because typically we'll just do more of a sharing, like where's everybody at in the business, what are some of the things that they've achieved this week. But these things are very near and dear to my heart, and I felt like it was something that I really wanted to go over, especially with the rate at which our team is growing. And I don't want anyone here to be burnt out. So we're coming off of Team Cup where everybody was pushing super hard. And I don't want March to then be the downfall where it's like, okay, I neglected my family. I spent all this time doing the Team Cup, and now it's time to kind of, take a breath and step away. Instead, I want us to be effective with our team, our time, and okay, here's the thing, guys. I'm all about life balance. So sometimes I hear leaders talk and they're like, oh, I work 16 hours. Honestly, I think that's stupid. I think that unless you want to and you have the energy, then it's like, what is the point of creating a business to live a life of freedom if you're going to be glued to your computer and, spending time away from your family? So for me and my mission statement and, what it means to my family, even though it's me, Jay, and the dogs, I want to be set up for success now, so that if we do have kids, that I'm not slaving away on the computer, that I have leaders who can take charge and, run with the business and not have to rely on me to get to that next stepping stone. So it's something I want you guys to think about. It might seem very far off for you to be Star Diamond, but you will be surprised at how quickly your coaches add coaches add coaches. And then if you have it set where you're like, I'm so willing to help, and I'm always willing to get on the phone, and that's so super sweet of you, but it's not being an effective leader. You always being on call is you being a bad leader. It's you not teaching your team to step up. It's you kind of enabling them to have you as a crutch. And I'm not going to name any names, but I had 2 messages this week where coaches of coaches basically messaged me for an answer and then told me that they were too lazy to go find the answer themselves. And that is not a team culture that I want to create or continue. That is absolutely unacceptable in my eyes. If you are a true entrepreneur, you are going to get out there and Google the answer. You're going to find it. You're going to search down every resource that you can until you come up with something satisfactory. You're not going to message your upline coach or your Star Diamond coach and say, what's Coach Relations' phone number? Because, I'm too lazy to look for it. I found it in 5 seconds Googling it. I Google it every time I need it. So it's so silly to me. But anyway, it's about 9:45. So did you guys want to go over your personal businesses or what you're reading for your personal development, or call it a night?
I have a question.
Sure.
So you talked about scheduling the challenge groups in Hootsuite, which I need to do. But you also post when you're doing your own personal posts, like your content posts. Do you do that on Hootsuite too, just to stay off Facebook? Because I have a serious Facebook problem.
So, okay, here's the thing. I think that if you are working full time, you need to schedule your post, because something is better than nothing. But some people know what Hootsuite is, so if they see a Hootsuite post, they're like, oh, I'm not going to respond to that because she's not actually there. And the other thing is, it's questionable how much it shows up in the news feed, because Facebook can determine, what source the post is coming from. So it's absolutely best if you can post real time. And I think what you need to do is stay out of the news feed, number one. So create lists. Number two, kind of have set times where you're like, okay, I'm allowed to go on Facebook for X amount of time. You know, I know that you're on there all day and your thing is like social media. Same with you, Kendra. I think that you guys need to set little time limits, even if it's like a timer on your phone where it's like, okay, I'm going to have 10 minutes of free time just going buck wild in the news feed and like looking at everything. But if you look at any of the leaders, Lindsay Matway, Melanie Mitro, Brandy Botts, Mindy Wender, you never see them post on other people's stuff. Like, it's very infrequent. They're not going through and liking everything because they're too busy creating content to be in the news feed, you know, looking at what everyone's up to. If you create the list, though, I mean, you can still kind of keep up with your team. So you guys will see, like, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but sometimes I'll like 5 things of yours. It's not because I'm on your wall. It's because I'm going through my downline list, and I'm like, oh, good. Support. That way I can help my team build their affinity, and I'm not wasting a lot of time going through and searching for everybody. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So what's everyone's goal for the end of March? Like, is everyone down with the March Madness 10 by 10?
I'm there. That's
You
it.
are? That's so cool. Congratulations. Does anyone else have Success Club points on the board?
I have
Nice.
4.
Who's that? Kayla?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great job, Lindsay. Kendra, how many do you have?
I don't have any yet.
Boo. Just kidding.
I know.
Just kidding. So, Kendra, when's your next challenge group starting?
I have 2 starting on the 17th, and I have several girls that I'm talking to. I just haven't closed it yet.
Cool. Very cool. Is anybody promoting challenge groups other than the 21-day fix? Are you guys doing general groups or?
I
I
wanted to
always
start.
do like multi-program groups.
Cool. Who else was talking?
Hi, Amanda, me. I was hoping to start a coach apprenticeship group actually at the end of the month.
That's awesome. I think that you have enough coaches now to really get a good group going.
Yeah. I'm excited. So
How many
it's
active?
definitely.
How many active
Yeah.
coaches do you have?
I have 5.
Cool. P.S. Welcome to the leadership group. I'm going to add you because that's
Thanks.
4 or more coaches get you in.
Katie,
Yeah.
I have 4 now too. So
Oh, you do?
yeah.
Awesome.
I signed one Saturday or Sunday.
Yay!
Sometime this weekend.
Very cool. That's really exciting. You're starting to build your team volume. P.S. Did you guys notice the insane volume this week?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Is everybody going to have their biggest paycheck ever?
No, not me. I feel really frustrated because I'm actually, you can see, you guys are the only people that are seeing me like this. But because my jaw surgery fell during the 21-day fix release, that's just, I'm really puffed up and swollen right now.
You don't even look like you, by the way.
I know. Well, don't worry. Whenever it all goes down, it's going to be great. But I look crazy right now. But anyway, because of that, I feel like I missed out. So no, this week is not going to be. But one of my personally sponsored coaches, hit Success Club 13 in a week. So.
What?
Yeah, so it didn't benefit me, but one of my coaches is he just blew it out of the water.
What's your coach's name?
His name's Adam Heald.
Oh my gosh, he always posts. He's so cute.
I know.
I really like him. He's so funny because he commented something about being a dork, not knowing how to do something. I'm like, oh, he's so sweet.
Is he the one that has Team Awesome Sauce?
That's Jimmy, one of Jay's coaches.
Okay.
You see his picture with Autumn.
I almost died. Jimmy's the most hilarious person I know. I can't even take it. When you're around him, it's just nonstop. He's too much.
He had a really, really great blog post response to the Lead and Shakeology Dr. Oz.
Oh, really? What did he say?
Nikki, I saw it on your page. You commented on somebody else's page, or I don't know how I found it through the channels. I was
Well, he,
cruising
like, tagged a
Facebook.
bunch of- I think he tagged Jay, and he
Um,
talked about kind of like how like the media sensationalizes things like that, and I'll find the post and I'll post it in our group.
Yeah, please do. Let's see. So, are you guys getting a lot of people asking you about that? Because I really have not.
I
So,
haven't. I had one
No.
person post it to my wall, and she's a super, super duper sweet girl. And she even tried like 7 days of Shakeology and bought it from me. And then, but like instead of asking personally about it or saying like in a personal message, hey, this is going on, because she's like, oh, this is on Dr. Oz right now, she posted it straight to my wall, which I thought was really passive aggressive. Like, why would you do that?
I think people just don't know, honestly, because
guess. Like, I have a customer base that looks at my stuff. I don't know.
oh crap, guys, I totally forgot that blog webinar was on tonight, so I guess we had to listen to the recording.
Yeah, can you get a hold of it? It seemed like it was something you had to register for.
Yeah, I'm asking Brittany right now. Can you send me? Oh, she said it's crappy.
Oh.
That's disappointing. I mean, here's the thing, like at the end of the day, I was talking to Melanie when we got those pictures, and I was like, okay, like what's the deal with these 247 Success Club points? She said that basically what she did was hype up the program before it came out. She put everybody into a group, and then the night before it was released, she messaged everyone and posted in the group like, okay, it's getting released tomorrow and it's the sale price, make sure you order before it sells out. And I was like, Melanie, I think that you were the reason why I went on back order, because she had 91 Success Club points after that first day. And then she blogged about it, and she's got Blogspot, so it's nothing like spectacular. But she had 30,000 views on her blog post about it. So that's how she got so many customers. So I think, her being super consistent and her, putting it out there, pinning all of her posts, that's what contributed to her success with it. So, I mean, yeah, it's great to get on these webinars and learn, but at the end of the day, I feel like it always goes back to consistency. And if you guys want to learn blogging, I think the best way to do it is spend 15 minutes a day Googling or like learning one new thing a day in your downtime. So if you're at work or in your lunch break, Google, how do I get more viewers on my blog, or how do I get more traffic? So that you can start, don't make a mountain out of it. Just, take it day by day. Nikki, how did you learn blogging?
It's been so long. I just started a blog. I've been blogging for so many years since.
So basically you just did it, is what it comes down to.
And I learned all about SEO from working at AOL. So I learned a lot about the back end of blogging and web stuff through my job at AOL as a content manager. And then.
So what are some key things you can teach a new person what's the best way to come up with a blog title, for example?
Well, you want it to be, because most of the bots will pull from, that's an H1 tag, which is your header or whatever. And so you want it to be keyword rich. So you really want to think about your title being really related to what your content is. You don't just want to have some random title. So the title is really important for SEO, which is search engine optimization and how your blog is found. So that's a big way that your blog will get found, is through keywords and people Googling, and sometimes it just takes time to build that up. Back to other blog posts that you've done. But I know I want to catch up on SEO. It's changed a lot since I started blogging and learning about it at AOL. So, but there's so many, just Google SEO or what Katie said, how to get views on my blog, and there's so many articles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's honestly the best way to do it. Or I've Googled so many things, like how to get the social media widgets or whatever they're called. I don't even remember how I did it. I just did it, and then like I unlearned it as soon as I did. But yeah. So anyway, I think that's the best way.
Hardest part is keeping up for me is to like being consistent with my blog posts.
Totally.
And like
Yeah.
sitting down and writing it out and taking pictures, and
Yeah.
so it's a lot of work, but I find that my like page is kind of like a mini blog. So like I have fans on my like page that, you know, when I post my blog there, they'll read it, but they're more there for the interaction. I mean, I just had my first hater, and she got me 50 new likes yesterday. So thank you, hater. He didn't like that I shared an article saying my 3-year-old was an asshole. So
That was so funny. That's why I was on Nikki's page, and that's how I found Jimmy's blog.
Oh my gosh.
He told me I was a bad parent and that I shouldn't have any more children.
Meanwhile,
and my fans like attacked her. I was like, oh.
You're like, yeah, fight for me.
Well, that wasn't even my article. I just shared it.
You what?
It wasn't even I didn't even write it. I just shared it. I was like, this article's funny.
Yeah, people are so stupid. Like, I posted the boob thing. Like, I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
What boob thing?
So somebody had like commented on my blog, like the blog post about my Brazil butt lift results. And some guy was like, are you going to do something about your boobs now?
Oh my God.
Like, I laughed so freaking hard yesterday, and I was debating if I should post it or not, but I thought it was too funny not to post.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
kidding. An idiot. Little do they know, my surgery is scheduled for March 31st. I'm excited. Not this guy. This has been like years in the making, but
Yeah, wasn't it on your dream board for like
forever? And I keep like no, it's been something I've wanted to do since like 2009. But I just kept putting it off for whatever reason, and then I finally just was like, okay. It's like Australia.
I'm really
That's
jealous.
like a dream to go to Australia, but I'm like scared to go because I don't want it to be not amazing. So I was like, the boobs are the same thing. Like, I'm like, what
in
if I did it?
Australia? Oh. I thought you said you're going to Australia to get boobs.
No. No. That would be quite the journey in recovery. Yeah, but anyway. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or questions, obstacles that you faced this week that are bugging you? Everyone's doing a rockin' job at their business?
No. I don't want to talk about it.
That's even more reason.
I know.
I think that, I really want you guys to take what I talked about tonight to heart, and I would like to see this week how that plays out as far as, if you feel like you're being more effective with your time and that you're actually getting more done by plotting out your day versus waking up and just kind of going with whatever happens. Another really great another great book for kind of teaching you how to implement some things is the Success Principles. So he talks about on Sunday kind of visualizing how you want your week to go. And I think that is very helpful. If you kind of plan out in your mind what meetings you have or appointments or things, and then you can, I'm a huge believer in letting your subconscious try to figure some things out and be prepared for how your week's going to go instead of diving right into it and, flying by the seat of your pants, which, as exhilarating as that might be, you're not going to be very effective if you're just kind of reacting to everything. So I'd like for you guys to post in the group with how it goes.
Can I, before we close up, can I actually get everyone's input on something?
Sure.
To talk about our business? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were talking about, hold on, I'm pulling up my notes, about finding out like what your mission is and who your target market is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my experience so far with my jaw surgery has been a huge enlightenment for me because right off the bat before my surgery, they told me, okay, you're going to have to bulk up on muscle milk and carnation and boost because I was on a liquid diet for 2 weeks, okay, because you can't chew.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that, obviously. That's just not what I'm going to do. But so the day after my surgery, I started drinking Shakeology. And you're supposed to be a hot mess after surgery. You're supposed to have bruising up your eye. I don't want to get too gross, but you're supposed to have bruising everywhere. I'm supposed to be much larger than this. And I came into my pre-op appointment and my post-op yesterday, and my oral surgeon said, I cannot believe you look so good. Your swelling is down. You look like you haven't had the surgery for a month. What are you doing? And I said, well, actually, I haven't been taking your advice, and I've been actually drinking this nutrition thing. I think that's actually has a lot to do with it. And so I've been posting every single day about my surgery. And so I think that this is my target market, as strange as it is. Whenever I create YouTube videos, if they say P90X review plus adult braces update, I get 1,800 views out of nowhere. Like,
That's awesome.
so first off, First off, do you think that this is a strange or a good idea to use this as my target market? Because whenever I was looking into getting this done, there was no help out in the cyber universe for this. It's all very scary. Everyone always says negative things. So do you see this as a potential target market for me?
So I think that it's a great, like, anytime you have a struggle that you can share and how you overcame it, that's great that you can share that. But I think that you need to consider your overall target market, which is like, who is the girl? Like, you're not always going to work with the person who has braces or who has jaw surgery. So I think for the time being, I would utilize it and create content and kind of share your story and share how you've, dealt with some of the challenges. But for the future, I would come up with, like, who is this person? Maybe it's somebody who had braces at one point. So it's like, I would say utilize it for now, but then for the future, I would think about how you can, create it into just a slightly larger
I think
audience.
you should utilize it in just in general, the healing aspect, because they already have, the doctor's videos about different things, about diabetes, this and that. Jen focuses on PCOS. I think you could focus, the braces thing is good, but just the healing aspect in general and how amazing it was and what your doctor said, and just healing from any kind of surgeries or illnesses or anything.
Yeah. And I say that because on my blog, on WordPress, you can see what web pages or what links of yours, what specific articles have been getting hits. And ever since I started posting my jaw surgery stuff every day, it's like a couple more about my Shakeology. It's just like this little blip on the top of my blog. But every day I'm noticing there's more and more posts. So I just kind of wanted some feedback on it. I agree with you. It's not so much my target market, but it is something that's unique about me that I think could attract people in more than other things. Okay, that's all I needed. Thanks.
And I would definitely take Amy's advice, like maybe make a couple posts about recovering after surgery. Maybe not put down surgery, but just like,
recovery after surgery. Yeah.
Yeah. How soon can I work out after surgery, or how soon can I start P90X after surgery? Just some things that you're experiencing.
Okay.
I would think of every question that you have and how it relates to your business and like how you can write about it. And then even like write about things that aren't Beachbody related. So maybe, not that this applies, I can't think of a good example. Like something where you're like, my favorite life-saving thing during this time is like this amazing pillow because I had to like lay in bed for a week to recover or whatever. Like, when you're giving recommendations besides Beachbody products, it just builds trust. And they're like, oh, she's not just trying to peddle all Beachbody stuff, because I think that's annoying.
Well, I thought about making a video about how I would have never had the courage to get all of this done I mean, this is all related to my health. I would have never gotten the courage if I hadn't been a Beachbody coach, because I've known for almost 7 years I had to get this done, but I was just going to put it off for the rest of my life. So that's I was like,
Definitely.
yeah. Okay. All right.
That's so
Thank you,
funny.
guys. Yeah. I won't stop talking. Sorry. I'll stop. Thanks.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have anything they want to bring up? Cool. Well, thanks for getting on. Thank you for being flexible with the time this week to the people who are in the leadership group. So we don't have to have our Thursday night call because I feel like I went over everything I wanted to talk about, and I'll post the recording for anyone who wasn't able to be here. In the meantime, I will look forward to seeing your business activity trackers in the group, and I appreciate you guys spending time with me.